Sally from Stevens Point, Wisconsin, asks the following question. I am examining the idea that there is no perceivable distance between the seer and the seen, and that this is what causes me to mistakenly identify myself as my experience. If I want to know my true self, which I am told is boundless peace and causeless joy, is it simply enough to observe reality as the seer? Do I ultimately identify as a seer by simply repeating the process of witnessing what is over and over again until it is all I know? Dear Sally, if you want to know your true self, you first have to convince yourself of its reality. In other words, to convince yourself that in this moment, you, the real Sally, is hearing these words. That there is something real that is perceiving. That's the first step. The second step is to convince yourself that this real thing which is perceiving is your real self, is the real Sally. The third step is to convince yourself that there is no evidence that this self or consciousness which is perceiving is limited to or by the body-mind that you also call Sally. You have to convince yourself of this total absence of evidence with utmost clarity, beyond the shadow of a doubt. I'm not saying to convince yourself that this witness, this true self, is boundless peace and causeless joy. No. But that there is no evidence that it isn't boundless. Then, when you have reached this point, you will already be very well acquainted with this presence which is hearing these words. You will have reached conclusions, and conclusions that are not based on hearsay or on inference, but rather are based on your own experience of it, of this presence. The rest will happen by itself the moment you are open to it. Your interest for it, for the experience of this presence beyond the mind, in its divine essence, this interest, this love, has to become overwhelming. It has to become the absolute priority of your life. See whatever resistances remain. See that you are not willing yet to give everything for it, to give your life, to surrender everything you know, everything you believe in. I'm not asking you for new beliefs. I'm simply asking you to be free from the old beliefs, from the old resistances, and to keep your fears under control, under the control of your overriding love for the truth. When the love becomes more intense than the fear, it wins. Thank you for your question.